So you don't think it was directed at me? Oh, you think it was a catnip deal gone bad? And this was retaliation for... Oh! Well, that explains a lot. No, I appreciate it, officer. Thank you so much for looking into it. That helps a ton. It really does. Okay. No, you have a good day, too. Thank you so much. What is up, you damn dirty deckheads? Happy Monday to you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We are out here doing it. Daddy's alive. Holy shit. We got to get to that. There's a whole lot. Oh, my God. Guys, right now for me, life is pretty wild. I'm not going to lie to you. It's been insane. We have got a jam-packed show to get to. Let me just start off with the chats. I don't even know who was first. I am so far behind. I know I saw somebody say that the 2-minute pregame is back. That was not the plan today, but a sheriff's officer just left my house like 15 minutes ago. So needless to say, Daddy's way behind on stuff. Today may be kind of a sloppy show, so if you can forgive me, I would appreciate it. I'll get to all the reasons why it's going to be more sloppy than normal. But let me give my I haven't even been drinking. I should be. Let me give my chat shout outs. What's up, Brandon Martinez, Sergio, Total Dallas, Uriel Villanueva, Clarence. Clarence is a damn hero in Warzone, you guys. He's also a crazy man. Fidel Limon has us stacked with videos today. The breakdowns, Fidel sent me. He was a part of both of them. Actually, I had 3 guys send me one, but Fidel sent me the other 2. Chris Reyes, he with the Celsius. Chris Reyes hates Virginia buttonweed. I love it. Justin Swinford, what's up, homie? I think Justin was actually first, if I saw it right. Cowboy Fam, Justin Kelm, Allen, Brian Lamb. What's up, buddy? Donna, my sweet Donna. Thank you, sweetie. I'm glad to be safe, too. We'll get to that, I promise. We got so much information to discuss. Sergio, what's up, dude? Who else is here? John Westling is in the building. Had fun with John this weekend. Not in a sexual way. I just want to point that out. Hugh, Steve-O, what up, dude? John Dory, what's up, man? Brandon Martinez, Jen. I love you, Jen. Thanks for being back. Where else we got? Truck driver Pookie's in the house. Who else? Andy Huggins in the building. Andy, Dusti Rhodes finally joining me today. How about that, huh? Terrence Guidry, what's up? AR Platinum, I'm not late. You can kiss my ass. Hip Hop Hercules, Rachel. What's up, Rachel? How are you, sweetie? Luis Zalea, one of our chat moderators. The other one is Jeremy Vinegar. He is also in the building. So, look, we got a lot to get to. We got tons of sports, if we ever have sports again. Tons of life, videos, all that. Thank you, Hugh, for the super chat. Buddy, I am so happy for you. It's a great feeling. When Nora had to go get tested and got her results back and found out she didn't have it, that was a good feeling to have. I think I can zoom out here a little bit. Let me get, there we go. That's much better. But I'm happy for you, Hugh. Good for you, buddy. I'm glad you are COVID-free. Now we got to pray for my mama. So that's the next one. What's up, Walt? What's up, Katie? I see everybody here. I love it. We're in the building. It is appropriate that Dusty appears on a Monday, Andy. Okay. So much to get to. First and foremost, as you guys know, last week I had a clogged sink. You know, not an artery, although that's probably on the table too. The sink in my bathroom was clogged, and everything I did to get it unclogged did not work. It was a no-go. I am not a good plumber. I went and I ordered a snake online, which I thought it would work. It was a 4-footer. Well, Jeff Bell, who is a deckhead and suspect, was listening to the show on YouTube. By the way, shout out to Jeff Bell. That dude is a hero, and he's a badass. And Jeff, buddy, I appreciate you so much for coming and helping me out with this, man. Thank you. You are a true man of the people and a godsend. So shout out to Jeff, and he's on the way, I think, to go have some fun at Kima with the kids. So shout out to Jeff's kid as well. I should have got his name, but dude, your daddy's a rock star, man. That was badass. Thank you, Jeff. So Jeff says, hey, if you need help, let me know. I get a snake. I try it. It doesn't work. Jeff says, well, how long's the snake? I said 4 foot. And he laughed at me like I had a small member. It was that bad. We compared snakes. I have snake envy. So Jeff shows up this morning with a 25-foot snake. Problem solved. Appreciate you, Jeff. Man of the people. Oh, by the way, I got 713 Hooligan coming out tonight to look at some glass. The Deckheads are amazing people, man. Wow, Rachel, that's uncalled for. Only 4 foot size matters, Barry. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Truck Driver Pookie, for the prayers from Mama Laminack. Jenny is funny. Yeah, we appreciate that. All right, so let's see. Damn, I didn't even shave today. Look how rough I look. This is awful. I just want to say real quick, also, shout out to John Wessling. John Wessling had me on his podcast, the After Later podcast, which is a fantastic podcast. We spent an hour talking about titties and why I might be the mayor of Bonertown. So if you have a sec, I retweeted it. Go to my Twitter, Barry is funny. Find the tweet for After Later and give it a listen because it was a lot of fun. We got crazy. It was good times. Okay. So, 4th of July, I was out mowing. I hadn't been out in the yard in like 2 weeks. And I was just, doing the yard. And I happened to drive by my office window on Saturday morning on the lawnmower and noticed a hole in the glass. And I was like, what is going on there? Why does that look like that? What is, I'm going to find these pictures for you. Did I delete them? Oh, son of a bitch. Did I really delete those pictures? That should not have been deleted. What was I thinking? Anyways, I'm going to get the pictures for you. So I go to my, oh, I know where they're at. I see a hole in my window and I immediately think, oh shit, I probably was on the mower and a rock hit the window and busted it. And I was thinking that because then I started thinking, well, wait, my mower is a mulching mower. So it doesn't have a chute. It just, I'm trying to pull up the pictures for you guys at the same time. So this is my bad. My mower doesn't have a chute on it. So I was like, well, it can't be a rock. Maybe it was from somebody else or somebody threw a rock or these kids. So I go to the window and I look and sure enough, is a hole. And when I look at it, here, let me show you the hole here. And when I look at it, I should have been more prepared, guys. I'm sorry. This is what my window looked like. Look at that. So that's the window to my office. That is literally that window right there. The one on if you're looking at the screen, I think it's your left. I don't know which it is. But that window has that hole in it. I was like, well, that's kind of crazy. I wonder what that's about. And I looked to see if I can find the rock. And I see a rock, or what I thought was a rock, and what it actually ends up being is a 9mm shell casing. Pretty creeped out about it. Didn't expect it, didn't hear it, didn't know when it happened, never even knew that it was there. I thought, oh, well, that's been there for a while, I guess. I even took a picture from inside. Hold on, let me show you. This was from inside the window looking out. So thankfully it's double pane, okay? So thankfully it's a double pane window. So as you see here, it didn't bust the other pane of glass. There's a second pane of glass behind there. What's crazy is that a 9mm bullet shattered one window but didn't shatter the other one. I didn't know that. So now I see, by the way, if you had OU Mike or Josh Ennis as the joke of the day, go cash your ticket in. We all knew that was coming, right? We all knew that once Barry found a bullet hole in his window, it was either going to be, you guys were either going to suggest it was AJ, Josh Ennis, or OU Mike. That's pretty standard. Needless to say, I was a little freaked out. And I had no idea why people were shooting at my office window. I then find out from the security guard in the neighborhood later that apparently there were, never mind. Apparently there were break-ins on July 1st, and some dude was going around lifting car handles. And yes, you did, Chris Householder. You absolutely called it. He goes, watch. People are going to make the same. Oh, you nailed it, buddy. But apparently there was a guy going around lifting car handles, and if a car was open, he would steal their shit. One car had 2 guns in it. Now, why you leave a car unlocked that has guns in it, I don't know. I will confess I had a gun stolen out of my truck in the driveway. In my defense, this was back in 2016. In my defense, I didn't know that my back right passenger door wasn't locking. I would lock my door every night, but that mechanism was broke, so they stole my gun. It was not the Amazon driver. Also, another joke that's already, you guys gotta be better. See, at least I came up with it was a catnip deal gone bad. You guys have to be more creative. So I talked to the security guard, and he says that there's the break-in. So I go back to my security footage, and I look at it. And I think I downloaded that as well. No, maybe not. Anyways, I look at the security footage, and catty corner to my house, you can see it's 1:30 at night on July 1st. It's 1:30 in the morning. You see a flashlight, and then you see a muzzle flash, or what I assume is a muzzle flash. So it appears to have been a random. I was trying to find the video for you guys. It appears to have been random, so that's good news. It was not somebody specifically coming after me. Still very scary though. When you find a hole in your office window, and literally, if you see that window behind me, it very well could have just shot me in the back or the head if it would have been directly straight on. Fortunately, not. Scary times though. I was talking to John Westling about it, and we were like, wouldn't it be crazy if I was playing Call of Duty Warzone? Right here. This is where I sit. There's a screen behind me. I'm playing Call of Duty Warzone and actually get shot in the back. Be like, yo, this game is too fucking real. I'm not playing this anymore. So then I look through the neighborhood, and yeah, there's plenty of, here's another, that we already got that picture. So I talked to the people in the neighborhood, and they basically, everyone's like, you have to call the sheriff. So I call the sheriff. And they don't seem, I call the constable, they refer me to the sheriff. No one seems real interested. Like, the sheriff came out today, and it was nice of him, and he was a very nice man, but he basically was like, I felt like he was telling me, bro, they ain't gonna do nothing. Like, nothing is going to come of this. Unless they arrest the guy, you give us the bullet, and but there's not much that's going to happen. In fact, the case is already inactive. July 1, you have guns stolen, cars burglarized, and now there's a window of a house shot. Case is already inactive. Yay, Montgomery County. Don't know why it's inactive, but it is. And so I filed my report. I got, that just did that for insurance purposes because I'm pretty sure the sheriff doesn't give a shit at this point because there's not much they can do. Okay. I don't know. It's just, it's an uneasy feeling. I'm not going to lie. At night, I'm a little more nervous the last couple of weeks or the last couple of days. Little more nervous. No, Sergio, not that.
Oh, yeah.
Not that at all. Yeah, I did get to run around a little bit, though. Chris Householder said none of us would know it's real because you scream in Warzone like you're really shot all the time. That shit is real to me, bro. Warzone is so much fun. Holy shit, I have a good time. Hey, Patrick Randall, thank you for the super chat, buddy. Very much appreciated. He said, don't forget to click the thumbs up button. We already got a thumbs down. How about that? I haven't even been going for 15 minutes, and already somebody dislikes the fact that I was shot at? Maybe? I don't know why they would do that. Patrick McClellan's in the building, you guys. Barry, you look like a newly divorced dad. I do. I've got a whiskey shirt on. I've got a scruffy. Yeah, it's a bad look right now, bro. Let's form a deckhead militia. Rachel, there actually is a deckhead militia on Warzone. You need to get in on it. Go to the Discord, sign up, get in on it. The oh yeah underrated mess means there was a super chat. I'm supposed to change that to a kitty cat voice. I've been a little distracted. Hey! Can I give a shout out to Chris Davis? No more eye patch. Good for you, Pirate Chris. Chris had pink eye. Somebody farted on his pillow. And that's the rest is history. Yeah, Black Emmanuel came up on the After Later podcast, Juan. That's exactly what it was. The thumbs down is the hater that missed me. And now there's 2 thumbs down. You guys are the best. All right. Let's see. Where's my rundown? I didn't even get to print my rundown. That's how bad this is. Real quick, I do want to say rest in peace to Charlie Daniels. The devil went down to Georgia. I'm not a Catholic, but whatever. What up, 713 Hooligan? He's going to be swinging by tonight to check the glass. I was a big Devil Went Down to Georgia fan. I think most people were. Is that a safe assumption? Are most of us Devil Went Down to Georgia fans? I feel like that's the case. Oh, Demetrius said KD was eating too much ass. Chris Davis, is that how you got pink eye? Are you out here eating ass? What did I tell you guys several years ago on The Usual Suspects when we talked about eating ass? What did I tell you guys? I told you if you're going to eat ass, there's only one rule. Wear goggles. That's it. I can't believe we're talking about this. There's probably kids listening. Jeff Bell's like, oh my God, I should not have my kid in the car listening to this right now. Jeff, you knew though, right, buddy? Okay. Let's get to some sports talk. That's enough about me and my drama. Okay. Yes, Boom Boom love Charlie Daniels. Okay, let's get to some sports talk because I don't know, honestly, I don't know if we're ever going to have sports again. You got everybody and their mama is testing positive now, and it's getting out of control. So, multiple Rockets have apparently tested positive. John Wesley said, my kids are listening, but that's a great life lesson. Thank you, John Wesley. That's what we do. Multiple Rockets have tested positive, according to Thabo Sefolosha, who spilled the beans to a Swiss media outlet. He said, after a round trip to Houston, I decided not to play. I do it mainly for my family. If you don't know, July 1 was the deadline for NBA players to opt out. Thabo Sefolosha decided to opt out, and when in doing so, he told the Swiss news outlet Radio Télévision Suisse, without mentioning a name, I know that some of my teammates had COVID-19, including one with whom I've been close enough for a few days in Houston.
Oh, yeah.
Pink Valkyrie, you're the best. So let me take this off the screen real quick so I can give this its proper due. If you play Warzone, then you know how fucking funny this is. Pink Valkyrie, you're hilarious. But she said, this is a super chat to contribute to you getting real life armor plates. My wife, no shit. Guys, no bullshit. My wife, I told her I'm going to go play Warzone. She literally goes, wear a bulletproof vest. And at first I thought she was joking about the game. And then I realized she's joking about me getting murdered in my office. That's my wife. She's got jokes just like Pink Valkyrie. Okay, back to the Rockets. I got to stay on track here, folks. Y'all know I easily get distracted. So Thabo Sefolosha says that multiple Rockets have been tested, or there are several names that he knows of that have had COVID. I don't know if they still have them, but in case you didn't hear the news also, and I know this is a couple of days old, but the Rockets re-signed, I guess you could say, Lukumba Mute, who hadn't played since October 2018. Obviously, he knows the system. We'll see how the shoulder is. We'll see how he holds up. But they, in replacing Thabo Sefolosha, the Rockets have added Lukumba Mute to the squad. We'll see how that holds up. We'll see if that's any good. Now, as I mentioned, that's just the tip of the proverbial COVID-19 iceberg in sports. Lots of people are testing positive. Lots of issues right now. The Washington Nationals canceled their workout from Monday, citing the health and safety of our players as they await results of coronavirus testing from last Friday. Nationals president and GM Mike Rizzo announced the decision, called on MLB to work quickly to resolve issues with their process and their lab. That's part of the problem. You guys remember last week I had Eric Garcia on, and he was like, it's literally impossible to test and then not make sure. You have to quarantine people and this and that. He was like, you need a 15-minute test. That's part of the problem. As people travel, they may have gotten it on the plane. If they test when they get off, they may not show symptoms yet. They may not register yet. So this can be a bigger issue, and trying to control this is going to be the problem that sports has, because you can set up all the bubbles you want. The shit is still going to happen. And if we continue to have a rise in cases and across the country, especially if you're going to do all this shit in Florida, where that's one of the biggest spikes going on right now in the country is in Florida. This could happen more and more and more. I think Alex is talking about UFC. Yeah, the UFC kind of did it right. They went to an entire island. Nobody in, nobody out. Fuck them. It maybe is smarter that way to control it. But these bubbles and stuff, I don't know if that's going to help. And just so you're aware, if you're thinking that college football is immune to this, they're not. Since the moratorium on voluntary workouts ended, look how many spikes in COVID-19. Look at the spike. This is among student athletes. Kansas Jayhawks suspended workout. 12 players tested positive. Texas Tech reported 23 football players and staff tested positive. LSU quarantined 30 players and more than a dozen contracted the virus. Clemson revealed 37 players tested positive. The UT announced 13 players tested positive. University of Colorado had 2 of its players test positive. I think weed might be the cure. 6 student athletes at the University of Houston contracted the virus. And then Kansas, 2 football players at Kansas State worked out with teammates while they had the coronavirus. And that's part of the problem, right? You got these athletes that think they're invincible and untouchable. Take for example, Brendan Schaub's. I almost called him a dumbass, and I didn't want to do that. But him and Brian Callen went to San Antonio and did a show. And were shaking hands and taking pictures and all that after the show. Got COVID. Both of them got COVID. Maybe from someone in the crowd. Probably spread it to everyone else that they met after they contracted it from whoever they contracted it from. There's a reason they're telling us the things that they tell us. And it's not because the media wants you to be paranoid. The media didn't create the coronavirus. Just so we're clear. But the fact of the matter is, you've got even Republican governors in the state of Texas going, ugh, it's fucked up right now. It's bad. But are bad. That's not the media. That's legitimately a Republican governor telling us that. And we're not, Chris Reyes, I'm not blaming your city, buddy. I'm not blaming your city. I'm blaming the comedians that went to your city and were dumb enough to not wear masks and think they're invincible. And then, of course, Brendan Schaub gets on his Twitter and is like, 3 days and I beat it. Okay. Well, not everybody is affected the same, Brendan Schaub, but don't minimize it, trivialize what this is. But you can see, man, there's a lot of athletes that are getting it, and a lot of them think, I'm an athlete. It can't hurt me. And maybe they're right. Maybe that's the case. But you know what? College football may not happen till the spring now, y'all. Look at this. There was a quote that said, what's most sensible is the spring. I understand the desire to have it in the fall, and there are challenges if you move all of your fall sports into the spring with all of your spring sports. But the argument here is we will learn from the NFL's experience to put big-time college football in the spring in likely an abbreviated season. Maybe it's only a conference format, 8 or 9 games. We're going to have to learn much more about this virus. So there is discussions already about moving college football. I'm telling you guys that everything keeps moving back and back and back. I'm going to be absolutely shocked if we finish any season before the end of this year. I will be stunned if a single season gets completed, even an abbreviated season, even a 60-game baseball season, even the rest of the NBA season, a shortened NFL season. I'm going to be surprised because it's the Wild West right now. It's crazy because you've got people that don't want to listen to medical professionals that have politicized what this is. This isn't about politics. It's about health and the safety of people. But no one, this is America, and people love to politicize shit when they have the opportunity. So what we're faced with is we've got people turning this into politics and not health and I don't know. It's funny to me that there are people that legitimately think this is fake when there are hundreds of thousands of deaths worldwide, but somehow this is fake to keep Trump out of office or some shit. I don't know. It's crazy to me, though. It's absolutely crazy to me. Where did that go? Westling said college football is about to get canceled and all hell is going to break loose. That is true. People love their college football, man. I don't think people are as sad if baseball and basketball doesn't happen. But if no football, no NFL, no college, people will lose their shit. Absolutely lose their shit. Hey, Jaime Moore said, "What's up, dickheads? Glad you're good, Barry. Saw the pictures on Twitter. Yep, crazy shit. I told the story to start the show. So look, if we get football, yay, fuck yeah. Don't count on it, though, folks. Don't count on sports. I'm telling you right now, John Wesley and I talked about it on After Later. Plan for an alternative. Plan for something different. Figure out what your entertainment is going to be going forward. Because outside of the UFC and maybe some international soccer, there's too much at stake for too many people. There's too many lives at risk. There's too many people concerned about putting their families' lives at risk. We may not see sports until, you heard it here first, or not. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. We may not see sports until a vaccine has been released and proven to work. Once we have that, then I think life starts to get back to normal. It's kind of like the flu, right? Once you got flu shots, life can get back to normal and you learn how to deal with it and live with it year in, year out. And I think that's where we're headed with COVID, is it's a worse flu. And not that I'm minimalizing or trivializing what COVID is, but we live with the flu in our society. We're probably going to have to learn how to live with COVID. I don't know if they're ever going to cure it, but if we can prevent it, there you go. All right, real quick, before I get to, yes, I know I need to mention this. If you didn't hear, see, or read, and I'm going to try to find the screenshot that I had for it. There it goes. If you didn't hear, see, or read it, here it is. I pulled this literally as the 2 minutes was happening on the clock. But Adam Schefter reporting, Patrick Mahomes of the Kansas City Chiefs has signed a 10-year deal. Numbers I have seen initially, and all this was while I was going on air, so I have not validated this. But what I saw was $400 million. I don't know that to be true. I can't validate that. If somebody has a link or a source, great, send it to me. Happy to validate it. But I saw definitely 10 years. That was what Adam Schefter reported. But I saw, and then I think somebody said it in the chat as well, $400 million. And I think the question becomes, is it worth it? Yes. 1,000% Patrick Mahomes is worth a 10-year, $400 million deal. He's 24 years old. You're going to get him through his absolute prime. When you have an opportunity to sign a Super Bowl winning MVP caliber quarterback, you don't fuck around. You sign that cat. And this is an extension. So this is actually going to take him through, I believe, 2031, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe 2034. I'd have to go back and look at his contract. But this was very smart by the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I don't know how much is guaranteed. I don't know the details of the contract. Like I said, this was 2 minutes before I went on air when I saw it and tried to grab what I could. But I'm going to tell you right now, 10 years is worth it. Should the Texans, the question now becomes, should the Texans sign a Deshaun Watson for a 10-year deal? Yes. If you think Deshaun Watson can win you a Super Bowl, sign that man to a 10-year deal. Absolutely. Is he going to get paid what Patrick Mahomes gets paid? I don't think so. Is he worth that? Not yet. He hasn't proven it yet. See, here's the thing about sports contracts. Here's the thing about sports money. When you win a Super Bowl and you win an MVP, then you can get your 10 years, $40 million a year deal. Dak, I'm looking at you, buddy. You got guys like Dak Prescott that want Patrick Mahomes money but haven't done Patrick Mahomes things. You got to do those things to get that money. It can't just be based off of, well, I had a good year. Super. A good year is going to get you good money. But a Super Bowl and an MVP and 50 touchdowns and all of the things he does on the field and off, that's going to get you great money, not good money. You got to be great first. Is Deshaun Watson great? Not yet. He has the potential to be great, but he's not great yet. Win a Super Bowl, win an MVP, then we'll call you great. And I think at that point, you get your 10 years, $40 million. I think the difference, though, is if you look at the three players, and, you know, Dallas, people are going to say I'm hating. Don't think I'm hating total Dallas. Crystal Collins, or anybody else that's a Cowboy fan. But I think you also look at, would I sign Dak to a 10-year deal? Depends on what he wants. Depends on what I could sign him for. But I think I look at Dak and don't think he's a 10-year quarterback. I look at Deshaun and think he has the potential. I would lock him up. And obviously Patrick Mahomes has proven it. So you've got no, maybe, yes. Dak, Deshaun, Patrick Mahomes. It's one of those things. As a talent evaluator, you look at Deshaun and you think, is he going to be more good or is he going to be great? And I think he has the potential to be great. So I would give Deshaun 10 years. I don't think I would give Dak 10 years. I don't trust Dak. He's had one really good year. I would do maybe a 7-year deal with Dak, 5 years, something like that, 5 to 7, maybe the last 1 or 2. You can opt out if you wanted to, if he falls off. I don't know why. I don't believe in Dak Prescott. I'm sorry, Dallas fans. It has nothing to do with you in Dallas and none of that. But I don't believe in Dak Prescott. If you're in the chat, tell me, do you believe in Dak? Total Dallas says, last year my coworker said Dak should got a 10-year, $200 million deal. I mean, $20 million a year? Okay. Yeah, and I agree, KD. That's exactly. Watson and Dak haven't done enough to warrant a 10-year deal unless you look at potential. Do you sign a 10-year deal on potential? I think with a guy like Deshaun Watson, especially if you moved up first round, maybe you do. Maybe you do. What did Hip Hop Hercules say? Rachel said, good point, Hip Hop Hercules. Let's see what he said. 10 years isn't the same crazy contract it was 5 years ago. Defensive headhunters are police now, and sports medicine is so advanced careers will go longer. Maybe. But skill sets decline too, and you don't know when. It's hard to predict. Yeah, so Dr. Dre 290, I don't believe in Dak. That's the thing too. You got to look at potential. Do you believe in these guys? Do you believe that they can play MVP caliber football? And I do in Deshaun, and I don't in Dak. Sue me. Okay? And if Deshaun was in Dallas and Dak was in Houston, I'd be saying the same shit. I would 100%. And see? And I'm glad that I like that. Dude, I respect the shit out of that, though. Dr. Dre and Crystal and anybody else. I respect that you guys can own the fact that, I don't really believe in him. Well, I like him, but I don't know if he's ever going to achieve the level that he wants to get paid at. I respect the shit out of that because that's hard to admit. It's hard to admit. Patrick McClellan said, Deshaun potential minus O'Brien factor equals mediocrity. I don't know, P. Mac. Just made that up for you, pal. I don't know if you like that. If Bill O'Brien can coach like he did the first half of the year when he opened up the offense and he had Kiki QT running jet sweeps and it was dynamic and he's getting the tight ends involved, that's the Bill O'Brien play calling I want to see. But if we don't get that, then you may have a solid point. Bill O'Brien might be what holds him back. It's very possible. All right, real quick, before we keep going, because, man, I could do this all day. I am loving this sports talk. It's outstanding. So, hey, let's talk a little NFL Draft Lounge. Can we? NFL Draft Lounge is your source for everything NFL draft related. Hands down, it is the go-to resource. I've been looking at it. It's outstanding. It's a great website. You should check it out. And by the way, it's owned, operated, and run by fellow deckhead Brian Lamb. You know him as Stalker Brian or Brian Lamb or hashtag what's up, ladies. I don't know. But the website features scouting reports, mock drafts, news analysis. They broke down 2020 draft. They're already doing mocks for 2021. They supply all of the information for the blogs on the Infinity Sports Network as it pertains to the NFL draft. So it's a legitimate resource for you guys to use to get educated on draft picks, and teams and analysis. So it's outstanding. Plus they have a podcast. So if you're really deep into the NFL, which most of us are, you're going to want to check out the NFL Draft Lounge podcast hosted by Brian Lamb as well. Go check them out. Do me a favor and support the companies that support this show. Go to NFLDraftLounge.com. Get your NFL fix on right now. Go do it. And also, I'd like to give a shout out to my guy, Gustavo. I've got more Barry on Deck shirts coming. I had some blanks, and my dude over at Gooseworks hooked me up. That's who I use. Look, this isn't just he sponsors me and I was using Gustavo at Gooseworks Screen Printing Studio long before Barry on Deck existed. When I would get shirts printed for comedy, I went to Gooseworks. That's just what I did. So if you have a large order, you've got maybe a staff or a group or maybe a team, you need to get some screen printing done, whether it's masks, t-shirts, whatever it is, if it's screen printing, call Gustavo at Gooseworks, 281-685-4076. You're going to be glad you did. Go check out the work he does, gooseworksart.com. Like I said, I used them. I've been using them. When I was there picking up the Barry on Deck OG shirts, he was like, yeah, I just finished an order for Bun B. Oh, no big deal. just the king of Houston rap, Bun B, OG himself doing it. NOV, National Oil Well Varco, uses Gooseworks. Guys, they're legitimate and they do great work. If you have an OG Barry on Deck shirt, then you know for a fact Gooseworks is the play. So use them as well. Okay. The chat, I'm loving this sports talk. I almost wish it was a Zoom where we just had everybody that could throw in their 2 cents because I love some of the stuff you're saying. By the way, shout out Gregory Vega Jr. I didn't see you pop in, but he said, I love Dak. I just don't trust him as my QB, and I'm a diehard. I'm glad that I don't, because I don't want you guys thinking I'm a Dallas Cowboys hater. I mean, I grew up hating Dallas, but as I got into sports radio, I used it to have fun. But look, if the Cowboys do good shit, I'm going to call it like I see it. And They best offensive line, best run game. Yeah, they've had that in the past years. Dak, I mean, you can't deny what he did last year statistically, but he also knew that was a contract year. That would worry me a little bit. What else did I have? That looks like that was it for sports. Yeah. Oh, you hated the nickname, huh? Okay. Well, P-Mac. That's what it is. Okay, let's, I learned something this week. By the way, show of hands. Barry, we should do Barry on Deck shirts without name on the back. What does that mean, Hugh? There was no names on the back. It just said Barry on Deck and then it had a cat. I don't think there was a name on the back. Was there? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think there was. Oh, by the way, one quick show update. I owe you new patrons that joined the Patreon over the last 30 days. I owe you guys your gifts. Here's the problem. Daddy ran out of stickers. Had no idea. I had like 2 stickers left. So if you were in tier, whichever tier, you were supposed to get stickers. So if you don't mind, I'm supposed to have the stickers in my possession July 16th. That's when I'll do the mail out. I've got the koozies. I've got the bags. I just don't have the stickers. And pretty much everyone that joins gets a sticker. So I'm holding off for that. And then I'll get you your merch. So I promise you, I have not forgotten about you. I just ran out of stickers. And I had ordered 100. This time I ordered 200. Aiming high, I know. Oh, you want them with our names on the back. That would be expensive as shit. I just want you to know that would be very expensive. Okay. Very, very expensive. What's up, Jose? What's up, my dude? Shirts in pink. Pink. That might be doable. So what I did is basically I had a bunch of blank leftovers from when I had my screen printing company a decade ago. And I just found them in the attic. And I was like, oh, well, let me take them to Gustavo. And I said, just print it in white. Just put the Barry on Deck logo in white on the front. I'll sell them. I'll give them away. I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. I'll pay for them now and figure it out. So I'm going to have those available. Maybe those will be prizes. If you guys win maybe Yard of the Month or something, I can give you a shirt. So, but those will be available. I'm also thinking about just putting Barry on Deck shirts on like a Teespring and letting you guys order. Kind of like Raheel did his Spicy Boy shirts. But newsflash, I still don't have my Spicy Boy t-shirt. I ordered that shit in May. What's going on, Teespring? What are we doing? You're killing my boy Raheezy. So, we'll figure it out. All right. Okay, show of hands. Now, I'm going to give you the chat a second to respond because I know that there is a slight delay. No, Pink Valkyrie. That's not the show of hands I was looking for. Show of hands. How many of you guys are swingers? Put them up. Let me see them. Put them in the sky. Wave them side to side like you just don't care. How many swingers do we have in the chat? How many swingers? I'll just wait. I'm just going to sip my Diet Coke and wait for the response. Okay. Charles Garza is a swinger. Is that the show of hands, Charles? That's it? Look, no. In my mind, no, Hugh, you're not a swinger. You're a goddamn liar. That's what you are. Don't do the Teespring shit. I waited 2 months for my Spicy Boy shirt. Yeah, I'm going to have to do something better than that. I'll probably just use Gustavo and figure out. Just have to do runs. I'll just do pre-order runs. I'll make a design. If you guys don't like it and pre-order it, fuck it. I won't buy them. How about that? Not by choice. Chris Householder's watching for science. What do I have in trade? My wife just heard this and now she's staring at me. I might need my eye patch again. I swing, I don't swing. Okay. Let me explain why I asked this. So, 4th of July, my sister-in-law Nancy comes over and they made hamburgers while I was out mowing and looking at bullet holes in my glass. They made hamburgers and hot dogs like we do every 4th of July, and we just hung out. And she was talking about she had dinner at Tommy Bahama's one day, and that her friend had told her, her friend was supposed to get a table, but there was like 3 of them that were going to go, and they said, listen, get a table, don't sit at the bar. And her friend was like, whatever. So they end up sitting at the bar. And when the friend shows up, they're like, why did you not get a table? And she's like, I don't understand. But I met this nice couple. This is Janet and Steve. And they're just the sweetest people. And she goes, let's go. She's like, what? So they basically get a table. She sits her down and she says, listen, it's swingers night at Tommy Bahama's. And my sister-in-law Nancy's like, what? She's like, yeah, every Thursday at Tommy Bahama's is swingers night. Now Nancy, my sister-in-law is like, bullshit. So they call the waiter over and they're like, excuse us, quick question. Do you guys have a swingers night on Thursdays? And the guy goes, well, they want us to say no. But yes, every Thursday at the bar, it's swingers night. And Nancy was like, well, what's the best place to watch, to do people watching? And he's like, just grab you a high top table and chill out and you can just watch the swingers swing. So my question is, like, I don't swing, right? I don't do the key parties. I don't do any of that shit. Now, I think it's kind of disgusting, but I'm a germaphobe. So then we start talking about how do you know if someone is a swinger, right? Like, are there, outside of just going up to a couple and be like, hey, can we swap wives and penises and stuff? Outside of that, are there signs of swingers? Well, my wife, of course, looked it up. And the reason is because Nancy mentioned that garden gnomes are a sure telltale sign of swingers. I was not aware of that. And apparently that is. And so we Googled it. And New York Times the New York Post had an article about all of the different signs you can tell if people swing. If you wear a black ring on the right hand, if you are out and open to meet other swingers, you wear a black ring on your right hand. If someone wears a black ring on their right hand, approaches you, start a conversation with them. I see you're wearing a black ring in your right hand. Maybe we're in the same club. My wedding ring is black, but that's on the left hand, okay? Also, if you keep a garden gnome in your front garden or your front yard, that's a sign that you're a swinger. If you have a pineapple door knocker, let me grab this picture real quick. If you have a pineapple, let me put this on the screen here. Oh, they didn't. Damn it. This is what I get for doing on fly. Again, I ran out of time and I apologize. But if you have one of these, or you go to somebody's house that has one of these, they're a swanger. They are swanging it, okay? What else? There was the garden gnomes. People who are up for swapping sexual partners often wear a wristband brandishing a special sign. The subtle symbol was created to help swingers recognize each other and help them find potential partners. According to a website, the sign is unobtrusive and respects the privacy of the ones who wear it. The symbol, which consists of an international male and female signs arranged horizontally with their circles intersecting with 3 plus or minus signs on both sides. So there's all kinds of swinging shit. I'm going to tell y'all right now. I don't have the confidence in bed to be a swinger. I really think you have got to really be confident in yourself first, in your partner second, and in your relationship third to be a swinger. That's just my opinion. Eric Resendez, thank you for the super chat, buddy. He said, a big thank you to Carter Bryant for the gift bag he sent me. Thanks also, Barry, for the night stream because I won it there. Oh, yeah, that was dope as shit. Y'all should go see Eric's Twitter. My guy Carter Bryant, who I'm going to have on the show soon. He's got a new blog that he started, or a YouTube channel, excuse me. But yeah, he hooked you up, dude. I actually hit him up. I was like, hey, man, did you send that stuff? He goes, I'm about to. I was like, good. I don't want to bring you back and then have to have Eric Resendez talk shit about you for not sending you his stuff. So yeah, he's Carter's the man, dude. Okay, Roland. Now, this is inappropriate. Ladies, we need to see your knockers. Door knockers, that is. That's inappropriate. Chris Householder had a fake three-way once. And a fake disappointed them, too. Yeah. I couldn't swing. I find it too disgusting, really. Okay. I just thought I'd bring that up. I found that fascinating. So look, if you want to swing, if you're about that life, go hit up Tommy Bahama's bar on a Thursday and get your swang on. Apparently, that's where you can go and, try some other meat. Maybe that wasn't what I should have said. Hey guys, real quick, before we get to a film session, I want to tell you, speaking of trying meat, I'm sorry, David, too. You know I love you to death. Crab King Seafood is the best seafood in Houston. And I am so... Look, I told you guys I've eaten there. I love the fried fish and shrimp combo. That's what I had last time I was there, and it was delicious. It's some of the best seafood in the city of Houston. They're known for all kinds of stuff. They're known for their snow crab and shrimp platter that has the sides of potatoes and sausage and eggs. They're known for their boudin balls. They're known for they've got Florida-style seafood that's absolutely delicious. They've got beers coming soon that I think you're really going to like as well. But here's the cool thing, okay? Don't just take my word for it. Your fellow deckhead, Virginia Buttonweed, look at this. Virginia Buttonweed, he announced it on the Discord server. But Virginia Buttonweed said, I just ordered $175 of food from Crab Kings. Grubhub on the way. I will give an honest review, and I'm crossing my fingers. I was like, bro, that's badass. So this was his order. Check this out. What? This is, again, all from the Discord server. But this is what he ordered from Crab Kings, and I am delighted to tell you, you really can't see it. But he said that it was off the chain. It was delicious. And if you're on the Discord, you can see it. But he basically said, my wife wants this to be our new July 3rd every year, is that we order from Crab Kings and get the seafood. So guys, do yourself a favor. They have 3 locations, one in Houston on Antoine, one in Stafford on Avenue F, and they're down in Deer Park on Center Street. All of them available online. Just go to crabkingstn.com or just look them up on Facebook. The Crab Kings on both Facebook and Instagram. But if you love seafood, you're going to absolutely love eating at Crab Kings, and the support is appreciated. And I let Jennifer at Crab Kings know, Virginia Buttonweed, and she was thrilled. She wants to use your info and the screenshots and everything for their marketing. So appreciate you doing that, man. And I'm so glad when you guys use our sponsors and have great experiences, because it validates what I say 9 times out of 10. So I'm so happy for that. Okay, folks, without further ado,
and now it's time for a film session.
okay, so I've got 2 videos for you, and we only have basically 5 minutes. So I'm going to save the fight video that I have for tomorrow. We got plenty of time to get to this week. I can't believe it's already 2:50, by the way. That hour absolutely flew by. Absolutely flew by. Film session. Hell yeah, TJ. Film session time, baby. That hour flew by. So we're going to use the short film session that Fidel and who else sent me this? Cody Lancaster, Dr. Dre on 290. Several of you sent me this video, and it's short, but oh, is it sweet. Here's our film session video. Yeah, do it. Oh, shit.
What did I tell you?
you can hear a guy going, what did I tell you? What did I tell you in the background this whole time? Like he told his buddy, look, this dumb bitch is going to fall off this roof. And then she doesn't. He's like, what did I tell you? What did I tell you? I told you. All right, let's evaluate Crystal. Oh my gosh. Let's see what we got going on here. So we already know nobody at this pool party has on a mask. So half of them are going to get COVID-19 anyways. All right. Now, you've got a roof and a pool, which is a recipe for disaster and fun. Okay. Here's the problem with a roof and a pool. You have a second roof in the way. Okay. So you've got this second, I guess it's like a porch, right? Like a patio covering. If that wasn't there, actually, you know what? If that wasn't there, she might be dead. She might have been, Pee-wee might have had to call 911. He did. She did. That was my first thought when she did that again. Why didn't I play that music? I need that as a drop. He did. So okay. Now, just like the guy on the rock, as soon as you hesitate, you did. Okay. She's up there. She's like, I'm going to do this shit. Right there. Now, you see the difference in the two jumps? Do you see the difference? Why do I have to teach people how to jump? Why do I have to teach people this? This should be just so self-explanatory. You can't get here and you can't slam on the brakes. Do you notice that, oh boy, one step, boom, right there. That knee goes up. He thrusts the knee up. He gives it one of those straight in the air. No problem. He's in the pool. Now, her, on the other hand, she hits the fucking brakes right at the edge of the roof. And what the fuck kind of jump is that? What is that? She literally just stood there and went, ha! And fell forward. She did not jump. She fell forward. So she gets to the edge. She just basically, I don't know if she slipped, but she just goes straight down. Now, let's say this. I said that was dangerous to have that roof there. But if that roof would not have been there, not only would she have died, probably, but all the people that she landed on may have suffered catastrophic injuries as well. And that has nothing to do with how big she is. It's just, that's a long fall. So she hits this roof. Look at the bend in the roof right there. Did you guys notice that? Look how the roof bends right there. Look at that. That roof is bent, okay? It then catapults her into the pool. What? She does not hit the side. She goes straight into the pool, feet first, like a fucking boss. Splash, and then comes up and gives everybody the oh hell fuck yeah fingers. I guess that's what they're called. Yeah, she's like, oh hell fuck yeah. And then you got a guy going, what'd I tell you? What'd I tell you? What'd I tell you? Yo, that shit, like this right here, from here to here, you're like, oh, she did. Somebody called 911. And then from here to here, you're like, yo, she's a badass. And can we just talk about how tough she is? You would have had to cart me out on a stretcher. No damn way. She's a badass. I don't know who she is. Somebody signed her up for the Texans. She's a badass. Yeah, that was a pretty badass degree of difficulty, Dr. Dre. That is a... Alan Denson, that's a well-made awning. Yeah, no shit. Wesley, she cleaned out the gutters on the way down. How nice. TJ, get that awning as a builder, as a sponsor. It's sturdy as hell. Y'all are assholes, man. Y'all are assholes. There are people in the pool where she lands. Could have been bad. That's true. Rachel, is the roof okay? Y'all are dicks. All right. Okay, it's 2:55. We have to go to break. It is time for our mid-show break. 5 minutes. I have a special break series for you over the next 4 days. It's going to be a saga. It's called A Man on a Buffalo. This was on YouTube many years ago. I saw it. Thought it was hilarious. So I thought, you know what? I need something funny and entertaining. So Man on a Buffalo is your break for today. I'm going to take 5 minutes. I'm going to get my guest Dusti Rhodes on next. And she's a badass. So I think you're really going to enjoy the conversation with Dusti. She's a comedian. She hosts the Moth podcast. She does the Whiskey Neat podcast on occasion. Just an all-around wonderful person. One of my favorite folks in comedy. So enjoy the break. It's Man on a Buffalo. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Dusti Rhodes joins me next. Stick around.
One day the guy on the buffalo was cruising around through the plains, seen a bear, and he thought to himself, oh man, I gotta get away from the bear. Hope he don't chase, oh no, he's gonna chase me. Oh no, I better just turn around and chase him back. 'Cause guess what? I'm on a buffalo. Guy on a buffalo. Hey bear, bet you didn't know you was chasing a guy on a buffalo. Look out, just watch him go. A guy on a buffalo. Oh no, it's a guy on a buffalo. A guy on a buffalo. One day the guy on the buffalo was riding around through the forest. He didn't see that Indian guy crouching down and he popped off a shot. Bang! Fell off the buffalo. Buffalo took off running while the Indian was still reloading. The guy on the buffalo snuck up behind him with a pistol and he was like, hey, better watch what you're doing. Bam! Guy on the buffalo. Break your gun on the stump. On a buffalo guy, we'll step on your foot. Ouch! Don't wake up. Oh, you don't want to mess with a guy that's riding on a buffalo. Hey, Indians, from now on, don't shoot at the guy on the buffalo.
That's not it. What the hell's
Hey.
going on? Welcome back.
Oh, you saw me fall off that roof. I'm just kidding.
Did you see that? Welcome back to the show, Barry on Deck, hour number 2. Joining me on Barry on Deck, one of my favorite people in comedy, Dusti Rhodes.
Aw.
Yeah, thank you for being here, Dusty.
No, thanks for having me. I'm excited. It's fun to see comics, even if it's, from far away.
This is a long time coming because you were supposed to do, when I was doing the nightly chats, we were going to do the show. And then I got laid off, which completely changed up everything. And then I was like, hey, I've got to try to get this to you. Please don't be mad at me if I cancel. And you were so sweet. You were like, whatever you need, just call me.
Yeah, dude, of course.
Oh, I was so distraught. And you made it so much better. So thank you for that. What have you been doing during this pandemic?
Let's see. I taught online. That sucked. That wasn't fun. I miss my students. So
a lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't know. She's a stand-up comedian and a teacher.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. So I taught online, and then I did a show with Bryson and Rich and Grady in a parking lot. So we were like on stage, and everybody was in their cars listening to us on their radio.
Really?
Yeah, it was instead of laughing, people just like honked at us when they liked the jokes. So it was like honks per minute instead of laughter.
That sounds fucking awful.
Uh-huh.
Did it suck? Was it as bad as it sounds?
That's the thing. It wasn't weird. Like it was weird, but it was fun. And I think it's just like it's all about like how much fun you have with it, right? Like if I would have got up there and just been miserable, I'm sure it would have been miserable. But instead, I was just like, fuck it, let's just do this.
Let's
try
what I mean?
Like, and just like lean into it, and it was fun, and the crowd like had fun too. So yeah.
Wow. There's an old story where Steve Martin did that, where he was, I think it was Steve Martin. He did a show at a drive-in, and they honked when they would laugh, and he was like, people would just honk at the setup just to fuck with me, and he was like, it was miserable. So I heard that somebody had actually asked me to do something like that. I was like, I don't want to go down that road. I haven't done any Zoom shows. Have you done Zoom shows?
No, I have not done any Zoom shows. I've done like podcasts and stuff like this.
Yes.
But no, I haven't done I don't know if I could do it, man. Like I
need a crowd in front of me. I don't want to see a bunch of little faces on the screen and hear their little digital laughter. I want it in front of me.
Yeah, because that's the weird part is you can't hear them laugh unless like they turn their mics on. And I've had friends that have done the show, they've done a Zoom show and there was no laughter.
Yeah.
And then I've had friends who did this show and they had people let their mics on because they want to do the next Moth. They want us to do it on Zoom.
Oh.
So that'll be interesting too.
Are you going to do that? Tell people what Moth is,
show.
by the way. Tell people what Moth is for those that don't know.
So the Moth is like it's a national thing. There is a podcast like the Moth Radio Hour, but in every, all over the country, they have story slams, which is where there's 10, people sign up. They don't know if they're actually going to get chosen. They're pulled out of a bag at random, and they come up and they tell their story, and the story's on some sort of theme.
So what are theme options?
Some of the themes have been, so there's every February, the theme is always love hurts. So, that's always great for Valentine's. Family, but it can also be danger, gifts. We had one time the theme was hair, and that was that brought a really cool, a bunch of stories that were just really interesting.
No
but yeah,
shit.
it can be anything.
And it's kind really of so you get. Is there do they publish the 12 because it's once a month, right?
Yeah.
And do they publish what it's going to be?
Listen to the Moth Radio Hour.
Uh-huh.
The Moth Radio Hour pulls its stories from the story slams all over the country. So we've had some of our storytellers featured on that podcast. A couple years ago during the World Cup, I told a story after intermission about punching a girl in the face when I played soccer, and that made it on there.
Oh.
So that was. My parents were really proud. Yeah.
Can we hear an abbreviated version of this? This is a sports and entertainment show.
Yeah. I played soccer when I was in high school, and I made the varsity team when I was still really young, kind of freshman, sophomore, they would kind of put me on JV and varsity, and I wanted to get in the good graces. Well, our team was kind of known for being very aggressive, and so like that was kind of how I
So
thought
literally,
I did it.
when your cheerleaders would be like, "Be aggressive," you guys were
Yeah,
legitimately
we're like,
like,
"Yeah, we
"Hey,
got it."
they said be aggressive, guys. Let's do it."
Yeah, so I was like guarding. I played sweeper, so I played all the way back. Like it's like I'm like the last player before the keeper, and I was guarding this girl, and like 15, 20 minutes in the game, she just started spitting on me because I was playing her like really close because she was trying to like. That's where that's where my coach told me to be. You know what I mean? He was like, just, you know, and she just didn't like it. So she started spitting on me. And I was, you know, at first I was like, that's like, was that intentional? Like, you know, and then she did it again. And I was like, that was intentional. Like, and then I was just like, hey man, like, that's not part of the game. And I tried to like be cool with her. She wasn't having it. So I tell the ref, okay, this girl's spitting on me. If you don't do something, something's going to happen. You know, and he was like, you know, calm down, 19. And I was like, okay, you know. And then we came back from halftime. We're on the field, and a girl got injured on the field. So usually when that happens, like there's no timeouts obviously in soccer, but like if someone's injured, you kind of go off to the side and like grab water or whatever until you can resume play again. So we go off to the side. I come back. I, you know, position myself behind her, and she just turns around and spits water all over my face, like she had like saved
like
it.
Triple H style, just oh.
Yeah. And so I just like reared back and just knocked her out, like just right in the face.
Nice.
What's crazy is there's so many things that I remember of that moment because I immediately remember turning to the audience and seeing my father, and he wasn't like proud. You know what I mean? Like he was kind of looking at me like, "Who are you?" You know what I mean? And it was like, oh my gosh. But the crazy thing is like then my coach is yelling at me. You know, he's like, "God damn it, Rhodes, get off the field." The thing is, I was on the other side of the field, so players and my coach didn't know this woman was spitting on me, so they just thought I just straight up punched this girl in the face.
Like just lost your shit for no reason. That's outstanding.
Like my coach was like, "Why did you punch her?" And I go, "She's been spitting on me." I was like, "I told the ref," and luckily because I did tell the ref, I think that's the only reason I only got like I think I like had to sit out like 2 games, and even my club coach made me sit out a game because they like everybody was just like, "What were you thinking?" And I was like, "I don't know, it's mad."
I don't understand that.
On me.
Right, like, okay.
She also stopped spitting on me because I was no longer in the game, so.
Well, either way, you weren't getting spit on anymore, and that was, you know.
Yeah.
Now, you don't strike me as the type of person that would fight a lot. Have you been?
No, like that's the crazy thing is like I remember driving home with my dad that night. You know, like when you would get in trouble with your parents and you didn't even try to argue because you knew that you were wrong. You know,
up, yeah.
I was just sitting there and I'm just like, and I look at him and I go, "But you gotta admit that was a pretty good punt." And he was like, "No." And I was like, "Okay."
What?
All right.
Oh
I've
man!
never done that, and I landed it.
Damn.
Yeah.
You landed it. Well, see. So, like, have you been in a lot of fights?
There were a couple of girls on our team that were like known for just like I never got in a fight after that. It was a clean slate for me until I graduated from Humboldt High School.
Oh, really? And then once you graduated, you just became like Gangster Dusty or what?
Yeah, exactly. I just said I would tell people that I punched a girl once.
I've used this one time. Was it a left or a right? Are you a lefty or did you throw a right? What was it?
Right. I am right-handed. Yeah. Because
Okay.
I just remember like she spit on me and I was like, "What?" And then I just like it was just like an immediate reaction. Like I didn't even think about it.
It's so badass.
And I was all scared that my hand was gonna hurt. You know, because that's what they always say.
Yeah.
And
You just did it. It didn't even hurt.
Go for your nose. Like that could have gone downhill for you very quickly. You're lucky you just she just fell backwards on the
Spit
ground.
in my face though. Listen, you handled that right.
I always hoped that I would tell that story and then the girl that I punched, because I don't even remember her name. It wasn't like a school that we played all the time. I just was like, I wish that she would be like, "It was me."
Just in the audience or something. That was me, bitch. Like I owe you.
I'm coming for you.
That's so funny.
Story.
Yeah.
She punches me.
You don't strike, because I know you so well, you don't strike me as the kind of like violent person like that, but I like that you have that streak in you where you're like, I'll punch a bitch if I need to. I don't.
It's like break glass if needed. I got it. Yeah.
Exactly right. How long did you play soccer for?
All growing up, there was like a stint where I stopped playing for like 2 or 3 years because I played softball. Because I'm a baseball family. Like I love baseball. I didn't like playing softball, but that's because one, I have ADHD, and that's a very hard sport to play if your mind is always like racing. Which soccer, it's easy because you're just always moving.
Yeah,
you
just
don't
run.
have time to Yeah, but I got a concussion when I played softball because I wasn't paying attention. The ball hit me square in the face and laid me out, broke my glasses, and after that I was
Same.
like, I think I'm gonna go back to the sport.
Where it's a little safe. I was actually pretty good at baseball. Now this was, junior high. I was actually pretty good at it. And then I was at the plate and I got hit in the face with a fastball from a guy that at the time could throw in like the 70s or 80s. So it was
Jesus.
fast for junior high. And that ruined me. Like I could never get back. The ball could be on the other side of the plate bouncing and I would jump out of the way. Every pitch, every time, didn't matter. All you had to do was throw down the middle and I bailed. So that ruined the baseball for me. But I was pretty good. But getting hit in the face will fuck you up, man. With a baseball.
Yeah, it's not fun.
No, it's not. It ruined me for baseball. Somebody wants to know what you're drinking, by the way. I have a chat over here, so if you see me
I'm
looking
drinking,
off.
I have it right here. The Russell's Reserve, the single barrel rye.
Oh.
I'm trying to do Chris Hart proud here.
Look. Did you notice, by the way? Did you notice?
I saw that.
I have. So these the
I like that
listeners.
somebody said that I'm wearing Astros stuff. I'm pandering to Houston. I'm like, no, this is my life. I
You
make
guys
my own
don't know
Astros
her.
dresses.
Oh my God.
I'm
Go.
not pander to anyone.
No, go look at her Instagram and Twitter and fucking whatever online.
I wore this hat because Pat McClellan's watching, and Pat McClellan is so jealous that I found this hat on eBay. So I always like to rub it in his face when I know he's watching.
That's hilarious. No, I'm telling you right now, you will not find a more diehard Astros fan in this fucking city than Dusti Rhodes. I'm telling you guys, it's unbelievable. So look,
and I fully endorse, by the way, Daniela not going to the hair salon or beauty salon so Correa stays healthy. Just want to say that for the record.
By the way, they're all giving me shit because of you, because you're drinking whiskey like a man, and I drink it with Diet Coke.
You're drinking with Diet Coke in a teenager's blacklight bedroom. That's cool.
First of all, they're LED blue lights, so kiss my ass, Dusty.
Is there like a Led Zeppelin Velvet poster behind you somewhere?
This interview is over. Oh, we're having a bad connection, guys. We lost Dusty. I guess I'll just do the rest of the show by myself now that I'm getting fucking roasted on my own show. And then the chat's starting on me. They say I do thimble shots. What they don't realize, I'm trying to do a fucking show, and these assholes are trying to turn me into an alcoholic literally every day. Like, take a shot, take a shot.
You do the show every day. So you definitely should be drinking on the show every day.
No, and they, literally every day, they're like, here's $2, take a shot. I'm like, oh, God, you guys are going to turn me into alcoholics, man.
Oh, that's so great. They pay you.
They send these, they're called super chats.
I'm going to start coming like, here's $3, Barry. I want to watch you eat a cheeseburger.
just this fat alcoholic. Oh my God. By the way, kiss my ass, okay? Don't make me get my lights. Those aren't black lights. They're LED lights. You know what?
Oh, they're LED.
No,
the new black light.
There. You sit there. I'm going to show you. Look how fancy that is.
Oh, wow.
See
that
that?
is fancy. Do you
That's my
control
light.
them? Can you do stuff?
Oh, I unplugged my headphones. Hold on. I can't hear you. I'm all talking to you. I can't even hear you and shit.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking idiot. Yeah, my back is sweaty as hell. Did you notice it?
Oh.
It's
Oh,
hot
yeah.
in
That's the sweet spot.
Yeah, it gets hot in this room. But this is my little LED lights that I use. That's fancy.
Yeah, that is fancy.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm
Yeah.
jealous now.
Yeah.
Look at me. I just got...
You got it back here
light.
like...
You also have like a gamer chair, too. I'm jealous of
I
your stuff.
do. I'm trying to be like these hipster YouTubers. I got to keep up.
It's all about the chair game.
I have no job. What the fuck am I going to do? I sit in a room with black lights and a gamer, like a 10-year-old's office chair. This is the life I live now. No, I'm not cutting back on the AC, guys. It's just hot in this room. There's lights, okay? Look, there's lights. Look, I'm breaking the fourth wall. There's lights. Y'all
There's a
kiss
ring light.
Yeah,
Man, you
y'all.
got a nice setup.
I'm a YouTube dork. I really am.
Yeah.
So what was teaching online like? Because I know comedy online sucks. What was teaching online like?
So it's funny, like when you're a teacher, there are these things that like when people come to your room and like look at, give you feedback on like how to teach better, and there are things that you kind of take for granted. Like I learned, like there's this thing in teaching called checking for understanding, CFU. It's like a common thing. And basically it's just like, if I give my class instructions on like what we're going to do today, I'll follow that up by asking some of the students to repeat the instructions to make sure that they understood them and that they heard me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And that it sounds like a really simple thing. Sometimes it's really annoying, like when you forget to do it. But once I started teaching online, I learned to appreciate it so much, because it's like I had to start like every assignment I gave my kids started with all caps letters in bold. Please read everything. Like, because they just wouldn't read the instructions, and then they would do the assignment, or they would ask me a question and be like, Ms. Rhodes, I didn't see where I was supposed to, and I go, it was in the instructions.
You're
like,
losing your shit.
You
What?
can't read. Like, exactly. Like, but it's also, but that's also the thing too, is like active monitoring is another thing. So like once I give my students an assignment, I walk around the room to just, look over their shoulder, make sure they're doing it correctly, because sometimes they might fully think that they understand what they're doing and then they're not. And so like that's the other thing too, is they just proceed to do this assignment. They do this whole assignment, they turn it in, and I'm like, this is not anything.
Close to what I asked for.
But and I was like, and clearly the instructions made sense, because 90% of the class got it correct.
Don't you teach smart kids too? Like, you teach really smart kids.
I don't think that I think that it's like, I think that it is less has to do with people who are dumb and just like apathy and just people thinking they know what they're doing, and granted, it was new for them too. So just like I was learning things, they're learning things too. But it was just these like little things that I was like, no, this isn't an online thing. This is just you
not
being like, almost like I was like, I want the first part of the assignment to be just them answering, like taking a quiz on what the instructions are.
It's just a quiz every day.
Now you can do the assignment. Yeah. But I miss like being in class. I like being in class. I like my kids. You know what I mean? Like, It's like, I like being around them. It's so much easier to explain things in the moment. You know what I mean? And it's not, and it was just, and it was something that none of us had ever done before, and we just had to adjust to it. So like, there were a lot of reasons that it wasn't ideal, but in the moment, plus I teach seniors, and like, man, imagine this happening to you. Like, my kids were like struggling with stuff, just like Ms. Rhodes, like my whole senior year is gone. They're depressed.
Man.
You know what I mean? A lot of them went to work, so they're like, I would get emails at like midnight, because that's when they would get home from work and do the assignment. I'm not going to bitch at them for it, because I'm like, you're doing it. If I was a senior and this happened to me in my last month, I would have been like, fuck off.
Yeah, I'm doing none of this shit.
I would have not been doing it. So like,
I did that anyways.
Yeah, I felt for them, and I felt bad for them, because that's rough. Like, and there were days where I was depressed, because I was like, I loved this group of seniors. Like the class of 2020, I taught them when they were in 10th grade as well, and I was bummed that I just didn't get to see them anymore. And that was it. Like, I got no closure. They just left. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it was like, there were days that I was like sad and I didn't like it, and it's not ideal,
Yeah.
So we'll see.
You have a passion for teaching, don't you? You love what you do.
Yeah, I think and I work with a lot of people who also share that same passion.
Yeah.
So I think that it's like, for us, it's all like contagious. Like, we all feed off of that energy for each other.
I say that because I watch, you see what people post, and I love Overheard and Miss Rhodes' Room. Whenever you do those, they're fucking awesome. And I know you do them on Facebook. Do you do them on your like Instagram for other people to see as well, or do you just keep it to Facebook?
I'll screenshot the Facebook post and post it. Yeah.
Because that needs to be. What's your Instagram so people can follow you? By the way,
Lady Apron.
Lady Apron on Instagram.
Yeah.
But and a really good follow, especially if you're an Astros fan and fans of homemade dresses.
Yeah, I'm working on a NASA dress.
Very
right
good.
now.
No shit.
Yeah, I got.
I'm always fascinated. We're gonna get into that too.
Like when SpaceX launched, I just like got it in my. I was like, oh man, and I was just like online. I found some NASA fabric, and I was like, get it.
This is so. I'm gonna make you go get some in the middle of this show so you can show them off. But
just like hold my dresses.
Yeah,
off.
but
all the Astros ones.
Yes, you have to do that. But I will say, like I asked you, or I made the comment about your passion for teaching because you can tell what people are into by what they post online. And if somebody's not into their job, they don't post about it. But you seem to have a certain amount of pride in your students and teaching and teaching these kids. Being to be the future. It's really cool to see, because I feel like there's so many teachers that are burned out and underpaid, and the bullshit that they put up with and the politics of it. Is it hard to stay positive?
I think it's important, I guess, like with any job, to like remain solutions oriented. And I feel like the school that I work for particularly makes my job a lot better, because it's like a school, like we practice restorative justice at the school I work for. So like, we're not as punitive. I think our students have a lot more trust, and I think that helps me like
Hold on, I don't know what the fuck just happened there. Sorry.
yeah, I was like
So somebody asked me to put your Instagram on the screen, and for some reason,
I'll type it into the thing.
okay, yeah, but for some reason, well, that's gonna be on the chat. That was so weird. For some reason, it just went to the break commercial. Let me do this. At Lady Apron. Add. Now it's added. Okay. Now we're there. Got it. Okay. That was so fucking weird. My bad, y'all. Okay, go ahead.
Did I just say? I don't want to share my screen.
No, don't do that.
I don't know why it said start sharing, and I'm like, I don't want, and now I can't see your face.
Oh.
It's like weird. I just kill it? Okay, there.
There we go. Okay, sorry about that. That was all weird. It was like, I got your bitch for no reason. I have the most technical issues of anyone. I need a producer. I need a full-time person to just push buttons and make shit happen. Because I'm like,
one of those YouTube. Yeah, you can be a YouTube intern.
I do.
Yeah, some kid that wants to be like, yeah. Exactly.
Oh my god. Okay, let's go back to it. So the burnout of a teacher. I mean.
Yeah, I think the school I teach at particularly helps me really like always enjoy my job because it's like an administration that's in line with what how I think teaching should work in a classroom, both in like how we take care of disciplinary problems, but also like on the end of like how I teach and what I'm allowed to teach. And I think like you find a school that really works for you as a teacher, and that really helps because kids are great everywhere. Like, administration's not always great. Like, I left the last school that I was at because they got a new administrator, and I was like, I don't want to work for someone that doesn't care about their job. Mm-hmm. And so I left, and it was really hard because I'd worked at that school for like 7 years, but at the same time, I knew that that's what I had to do if I wanted to stay in the work, because it's it's a very important, like, I do see it as like a cause. I see teaching as a form of activism. Like, I think that it's very important. Especially given the kids and the demographic that I teach to. Mm-hmm. And so, I just know that I'm good at it. Mm-hmm. Like, and that's a thing, like, I hate saying that, but it does. Like, I can feel that it's like, I think my students believe in me and trust me. And when they don't, they know they're allowed to call me out and we can have that conversation, and I'm comfortable enough in myself that can happen. Yeah, of course. Like,
that's great.
If I pull a kid out, like if a kid's acting up in my classroom, like the first question I'm going to ask that kid is like, what am I doing wrong? Because clearly I'm creating an environment where like you're going to act that way. And so maybe, maybe it's like, cause I've had kids say like, Miss Rhodes, I just feel like you're all over my ass today. And like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you're right. That wasn't a great way to start the day off with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think just like having that conversation though, then they can come back in the classroom and we keep it moving. You know what I mean? It's not like.
I mean, you treat kids with respect and as like they're people and adults and I don't think a lot of that, I remember in high school, a lot of teachers would talk down to you or treat you like you were a child. Yeah. And you're like, bitch, I'm a senior. I'm almost 18. Like, why the fuck are you talking to me like I'm 10 or treating me like I'm 10? I think that goes a long way though. And that's probably why you have so much success though. Yeah. Because you treat them. I tell my students that all the time. Yeah, I tell my students that all the time. I go, because I teach seniors, and I'm like, I'm not going to treat you like adults because that carries the connotation that I think you're not an adult. Right. You are an adult, so we're just going to do this. Like, if I ask you to do something, if you're late to class, you know what the penalty is. Like, I'm not gonna like, that's a demerit. I'm like, I'm just going to give it to you. Don't be surprised. You were late. Who gives a shit? Let's keep it going. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think like once you like embrace that attitude, because it's just like if I was like, guys, if I was consistently late for work, I'd get pulled into the principal's office and get a talking to. You know what I mean? Right. So like in the same thing, like if you're late, you face the consequence, then cool. And we're done. You know what I mean? What does this say? It says Francisco Barque said Barry would be the cool substitute teacher that would wheel in the TV VCR and just pop in a video. I would be the worst high school teacher. I taught computers, right? So I taught at this place called C-Trek, but I taught adults. And I'm going to tell you right now, I would much rather teach kids than to teach adults. Especially computers. Adults are fucking stupid.
Yeah, dude, that's why whenever they ask me if I want to move into an administrative position or if I want to like coach teachers, I'm like, no. I was like, I don't want to deal with adults. I was like, no. I was now like, yeah. I've never wanted. I'm like, nope, leave me in a classroom.
My
So the
mom,
day
my mom was a high school teacher, and she loved it. It's just, raising 2 kids as a single mom on a teacher salary wasn't happening. But she had a passion for it. I think that's half of it. Is you have to have a passion for teaching.
Yeah.
In order to do it and then be good at it, and and have your kids respect you at it. But how does the comedy work? Because you're a teacher by day and then a comic at night. And
yeah,
I know
I've had students come to shows.
Really?
Like after they graduated. I was at the secret group one time doing flavored trash, that like late night show.
Yeah.
And I mentioned, I'm like, I'm a teacher, and then all of a sudden I hear in the back there's like these kids like, Miss Rhodes, and I go, oh, what are you, a bunch of my former students? And they were like, yeah, and I go, oh, well, just like in my class, same as here. Sit down and shut the fuck up and listen to what I have to say. Like, I was like,
that is outstanding.
I can say those words to you now because we're not in my classroom.
I'm about to be nice to you now, bitch. Shut up.
Yeah, but they've come to see me, so I don't have a lot of my stand-up on YouTube. Everything that's for me, it's on YouTube is grown-up story time, the reading series, so they Google me, but some of them, they follow the improv on Twitter and on Instagram, and so they'll be like, Miss Rhodes, you're at the improv this weekend? I'm just like, yes. You're not 18, so I'm not worried about it. But there's not you've seen my comedy, there's nothing I have that's so egregious that they would, you know what I mean? So it's not I'm not worried about it. And most of the time, the students that have wanted to come see me and have come see me are students who really are there because they want to support me. It's they're not there trying to be
we'll get you in trouble.
Fuck you, Miss Rhodes. So they're just you do comedy, you know what I mean? So I think that they're pretty supportive in that regard.
Have you ever had a parent call you out for doing comedy? Maybe you know what, you're a teacher, or you teach my kids.
I was at the improv and I got off stage. And this woman kind of I went out to go to the bathroom after my set was done, and this woman follows me, and she was like, "Oh my God, you teach Bryce," or whatever her kid's name was. And this was when I worked at Springwoods. This was a couple years ago, and she was like, as soon as you got up there, I kept telling my husband, "That's his English teacher. That's his English teacher." And then he was like, "No, it's not." And then you were like, "I'm an English teacher," and I told him, "I told you."
Have you ever had a parent get mad at you for your stand-up? You're supposed to be teaching our youth, and this is vulgar or disgusting, because
Oh wow, no. Most of them just think it's really cool. Most of them I've had parents mention it to me. The crazy thing though is sadly the population that I teach, a lot of my students I don't have as much interaction with their parents because most of their parents have to work 3 or 4 jobs just to say, you know what I mean, just to keep food on the table and and so they don't so they don't see me as much, Right. And also some of them aren't native English speakers, so why are they going to go see some white lady on stage?
Sergio said, did she say Springwoods?
They've always been really supportive, so yeah.
Oh, that's good though. I would worry about that because I feel with comedy we talk about things, and you talk about sex in your act as do most comics. It's just a thing we do. And so
that's the thing is people have asked me that, and I'm like, yeah, so I'm gonna get fired because I have sex. I was that's
newsflash.
Did they know? Yeah. Especially with the culture right now, I'm I don't think that anyone's gonna, no one's gonna be she talks about having sex on stage. Clearly, a woman, being okay with her sexuality, that has to go.
No, we can't allow that. We need you to go up there and tell jokes about being a nun, even though you know nothing about it.
Yeah, I also take and also given the books I teach, some of the books I teach, In Cold Blood, which is a book about a gruesome murder. I'm but you're okay with that? But I mentioned that a penis was in my vagina and we're going to lose our minds. Okay. All right.
I can't talk about Coach Woods. What was his name? Is it Coach Woods? Who was this? Coach Banks.
Banks. You know what's funny?
Is that a real coach, by the way? I love that shit.
I think it was Broussard and I wrote that tag. Broussard wrote the assistant Coach Banks tag.
Yes.
But what's funny is I did that joke. I had been doing that joke where I say that, and I just threw on.
Just do it. I don't want you to do the whole, but just do a 30-second bit.
Just me being late to class because I had a walk of shame down Coach Banks' driveway. But what's funny is Coach Banks is a guy. Not a man that I ever had sex with. I worked with him. He was just he has a family and kids, but just the name Coach Banks is funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it works.
So what's funny is he came to see me when I first headlined the Improv because my principal bought like all the teachers' tickets, and she was like, "We're gonna go surprise Dusty." So like a big portion of the audience when I first headlined the Improv was my coworkers, which was like kind of jarring because nobody told me.
Yeah.
And then I'm doing that joke and I go, Coach Banks, and I almost wanted to pull an Albert De Leon where I just like closed my eyes because I didn't want to like make eye contact with them. But then like the next day in the coffee room, he just goes, "Oh, okay."
He came up to you. Oh
my God, was your wife there?
Hilarious.
He's like the sweetest dude. Like I love him to death. He's so funny. He loved it.
Was his wife there? What'd he say?
Yeah, but it was like a running joke because like she wasn't like worried about it. I was just like, it's a funny name.
Yeah. That's the thing I don't think people understand about comedy that I like having these discussions with other comics is it kind of gives people an idea. Yes, there's some truth to some jokes, but other times we just take what we think is funny or sounds funny.
Yeah.
And make the joke because at the end of the day, our job is to get the laugh, not be honest. I mean, we tell the truth.
Yeah.
You know, if we're talking about a topic, you know, we're going to try to be poignant or tell, you know, if we have a message. But, a lot of times it's just to be funny. That's so funny that he would actually be in the crowd. Oh, that reminds me of when Owen Dunn did comedy and his mom was there the first time he headlined it, and he didn't know she was going to be there.
Oh, are you talking about Owen?
Yes.
When he almost brought down the O?
The O? Yeah, it was the O.
He's like pushing back into the wall. I remember that.
That was the best.
I think there was some of us were standing in the back. And
me,
we were, like,
you.
taking bets on if he knocked
If it was going to fall, who else?
Taking bets on if he was going to knock it off. And I felt so bad for him because I was like, this is his like shining moment. And it's like, and you could just tell, like, I was like, it's like he was trying to move behind the wall. Poor Owen.
Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever been like embarrassed or like, because some people won't, you know, tell certain jokes. If like I'll tell any joke, like I do a joke where I call my mom a bitch, and my mom has come to my stand up like 10 times, and I do the joke. I make sure to do the joke when she's there, and I'd be like,
I did a show. I can't think of his name right now. He's like the Packers comedian guy. Why his name escapes me, but he does like his whole like he played at the Secret Group, but he's really big in like the Green Bay Packer world. And so like if people don't know, like yes, I'm head to toe Houston Astros, but my whole family is from Wisconsin, so I was raised on Green Bay Packer football. Yes. So I opened for him because you know Youngblood was like, you got to open for him, like because my parents started the Cheddarhead Pack Club of Houston North. So it's like a bar in Humble where it's like all cheeseheads, and they only put. So anyways, Charlie Barron's, that's his name.
Okay.
He came, and so it's like I opened for him. So my parents are in the crowd, but like all my parents' friends are there, and so like, and I started off by I do the joke where I talk about how I like, you know, like I like it when guys call me derogatory names during sex, and I go, and guys, it's cool. My dad's here, and he's totally proud of me, right, Dad? And we just like high-fived. I was just like, if you're uncomfortable me talking about sex, don't worry. My parents have heard it before.
That's great.
Yeah. Well, there was also that time I did a show at the Improv. So have you ever heard the joke I did about the guy who kept sending me messages on Facebook, like unrelenting? Like,
yes.
Just he sent me messages for like a year, maybe 2. And I read them on stage because it's just like, you know, ridiculous. I did that joke at the Improv, and I'm doing the joke, and I can notice there's like a guy sitting right in the front, like right on, you know, that table right in front of the stage.
Uh-huh.
And he's kind of like, you know, doing this. And then all of a sudden I was like, and he had very prominent cheekbones. And so like, I was like, oh my God, I think that's the guy. That's him. And it's like weird because I didn't realize it was him until I was mid-joke. And you know, like it's crazy the way like the brain works in that I'm telling the joke and I never pause, but I don't actually remember telling the joke because the whole time in my brain I was trying to figure out like, is that him?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's him. Is it him? Luckily he ended up getting up and leaving like in the middle of the joke. And so then I was like, okay, it was him, but at least he's gone. I don't have that going on anymore. You know what I mean? But it was insane. And then afterwards, this girl comes to me and she was like, I think I'm here with the guy. And I go, oh, is his name Kyle? And she's like, yeah. I was like, that's probably him. She's like, we've been dating for like a year. And I was like, no.
Run, bitch.
I was like, and she was like, I thought he was cheating on me. I went to therapy. And I was like, you went to therapy for that guy? Like, that guy's
Girl, save your money.
I was like, have you seen you? Like, you don't think that shit?
Would you, if he would have stayed, would you have called him out? Because I totally would have. I'd be like, holy shit, that's him. That would have been the best. Would you have done that?
I know, because that's the thing that was also going on in my mind. Like, I was like, then I'd be like, and it was this guy.
Yeah.
Like, hey, is that you? But and then I was like trying to wrestle with how do I do it, and all of this is while I'm still just telling the joke.
Isn't that crazy
it's
how
crazy
that works?
How much you can tell a joke that you just like know it that well that you're telling a joke, and I'm like, I don't even remember. But I just like walked into it, and it was like, and once my brain was back in the joke, I was like, I know where I am. You know what I mean? It's so weird. Like,
that is so funny that you say that. That is very true. There will be times, that's when you know maybe it's time to switch up your act or rewrite a joke. It's because there's times where I'm doing a joke, and I'll get done through with like 5 minutes of my set, and then it's like, it's almost like, you ever been driving home on the phone? And I actually wrote a joke about this, but you get home and you're like, how the fuck did I get home?
Yeah,
I don't remember the drive home.
Dead.
Yeah, that'll happen on stage with us, where you'll be done with you could do, 5 minutes into a set, and you're like, I don't even remember being there for 5 minutes. It's fucking weird how that works.
Did you ever get booked, like, the Improv when they, like, I only got this once, but I don't remember who it was, but they did 3 shows on a Saturday
I haven't done
instead
the 3
of
show.
2.
Yeah, no, I haven't done that yet.
3 shows, and I swear to God, the 3rd show, every 5 seconds, I was like, did I already do this joke? Did I already do this joke? Am I retelling a joke? Because I was just like, it was like, by the 3rd show, I was like, I was like, I need to have a checklist. Like,
yeah,
that one.
done.
But it was just, my brain was just like,
okay.
Yeah.
I hate to do this to you because I know you hate talking about this, but somebody in the chat wants to know about your name. Santos Martinez said, did she get her name Dusty as an homage to the American dream?
So, no. My dad is Dusti Rhodes, but not the wrestler Dusti Rhodes. So, my dad's real name is Richard Rhodes, or Richard Head, as I like to call him when I got mad at him as a kid. But when he joined the Air Force, there were too many, like, Richards and Richs and Dicks and all of it. So, they nicknamed him Dusti Rhodes. And my dad was like, loved it. When I get older, I'm going to have a son and name him Dusti Rhodes. And then he had 4 girls. And he was just like, you know what, just put an eye on it and let her go. That's where my name comes from. So I'm named after my dad. Technically, I'm a kind of junior, but not really. One of my ex-boyfriends, his boss used to always call me Junior.
Nice.
Just because he thought it was funny that I was like named after my dad. Yeah.
Do you get? I was so worried about that because the deckheads can be brutal. The listeners to this show, they're like one show It's my show, and I literally had to watch the chat roast me for 2 fucking hours for the shirt I was wearing. 2 hours. Every day they'll tell you how fat I am. They'll talk shit about my room, about me, like my clothes. So they're wonderful people, but they can be mean as shit.
They're wonderful people, but fuck.
But I was like, man, as soon as I say it's Dusti Rhodes, here comes the goddamn wrestler jokes. And are you like you're cool? Like you're like whatever. No,
I'm just used to it. Like everybody, like I get like that's the regular thing I get asked. Like every time someone's like the wrestler, and I'm like, no, not like the wrestler. I mean, yes. It is the same name as a wrestler,
but not because, or yeah.
I'm not. That's not my namesake. Yeah, my dad was listed as Dusti Rhodes in the phone book as kids. So we get. So kids would call our house all the time and be like, "Is this Dusti Rhodes?" My dad would be like, "No."
That's great. Underrated mess said whiskey and derogatory. 2 thumbs up. He likes that. Yeah. How much whiskey do you have left? I have to do a shot just to do a shot with you.
We're going to do a shot?
Yeah. So, you have a shot left about, right?
Well, yeah, I got about a shot left, yeah. I mean, this isn't really shooting whiskey.
No, yeah. No, it's okay. I'll do a shot.
Is there just a bunch of alcohol above your head right there?
Yes, I do this every show, but since you haven't seen it, I'll show you. I have my Whitmire's Peach.
Nice.
I have my proper number 12 that one of the listeners made me buy and try it. I have my sister-in-law bought me Crown because I love Crown. She bought me the Crown Texas Mesquite.
What is that? Oh, the Texas one?
Yeah, I don't recommend it. It tastes like you're drinking bacon.
Yeah, I was going to get about, I was talking to Chris Hart once because Balcones did some sort of mesquite or barbecue kind of thing. And then I asked, Chris, and he was like, it tastes like smoke.
It does. I was like, okay. It tastes like bacon.
I didn't go for it.
And then I have the Old Humble Special Reserve.
Okay, that's my hometown.
Yeah, and then I have.
Apparently that guy knows me.
He probably does. He probably does.
Yeah, because I think we crossed each other in high school paths.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like
He's a good guy to know, especially if you're how often do you do Chris Hard's Whiskey Neat podcast, or is it y'all's podcast now?
No, it's just
still okay.
I did it right when the pandemic started was the last time I was on. I think that was like my third time, and then but yeah, no, I just do it like whenever, usually like we did it right before the pandemic because I was supposed to record my album. Mm-hmm. But
sad face.
So yeah, it'll still happen one day.
I know. Girl, tell me about it. 2 years ago, 800-pound gorilla. I get introduced to them through Jerry Rocha. He sets up a meeting with the president of 800-pound gorilla. We exchange emails. He's like, "Let's do it. I want to do an album with you." I'm like, "Great." Time goes by. He's like, "Hey, we got a lot of people. Can we just wait? Or if you want to do your album?" And that was 2 years ago. And it's just every time I get ready to email him back and do it again, some new shit happens. It sucks. But you know what it tells me, Dusty? And cheers to you, by the way. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for being here. Me. Thank you for being awesome.
Oh, shot right out of the bottle.
Yeah.
Take that.
Take that, the man. I do that all the time. That's what they like. And then when I do that, then they're like, "That was a sip. That wasn't a shot." Okay, shut up. I'm doing the best I can do.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch it up.
Okay, do it. Switch it up. Bring a dress
Poison
back.
Girl Foolproof Weller.
What is that?
This is Poison Girl's Foolproof Weller pick.
Fancy.
Super good. If you can go, you can. They do to-go orders now, so if you want to try their Weller pick, you can go to Poison Girl and get a shot to go.
Oh, a shot to go.
This is a Weller not to be missed. It's really nice.
And Crystal Collins, who is a professional drinker, says, "I take thimble shots." Listen, I'm trying to be a professional here.
Thimble shot. I'm not trying to get wasted every day.
Yeah. So I had one of the deckheads. His name is Jeff Bell. He's a plumber. I had a sink clog. Long story.
Wait, did you say one of the dickheads?
Deckheads, because it's Barry on deck. Some of them are dickheads. Let's be real. Some of them are mean. Some of them are dickheads. I love every one of them, but some of them are dickheads. But no, one of the listeners, his name is Jeff Bell. He's a plumber. He came by today because I had a problem. And as he was leaving, he goes, he's like, "Can I see the studio?" I was like, "Yeah, come in. I'll show you." I showed him around. I was like, "That's where I keep all the whiskey." He goes, "Man, I didn't know if you were going to make it through the show on Friday. They had you fucking wasted." I'm like, "Thank you, Jeff. These sons of bitches are trying to make me alcoholics."
And you don't drink a lot.
No, thank you.
Yeah, because I remember I was talking about that when we went on the road to the Improv, and when we've done shows together, like you're not like a heavy drinker.
I'll have 1%. Yeah, I have 1%. That's it, and I have it on stage, and it's really more of a timing mechanism than a need to have a drink to take the edge off. Because I want to be in control when I'm on stage.
When I did that parking lot show, we had to do 20 minutes. I was taking a lot of sips. I was like, "This is the longest 20 minutes of my life."
Right. So what else is going on?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Drinks. You can kill some time. Can I get another one? Is anyone? Oh yeah, there's 3 minutes right there. Just ordering.
Bring me a beer from their car. I know you're drinking in there.
I know you got that shit in the car. Yeah. What is this? Under MS. Well, this is 2020. Women drink more like men than men do. Okay. That's not appropriate.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. They're just...
Now that the boys are home from war, we can finally have some whiskey. It's fine.
I want to talk to you about that. Last week, I had Rachel Von Aranje. I don't know how to say her last name.
Arando? From Dallas?
No, she does sports talk radio here in Houston. She was on 790 for a while.
Okay, sorry.
But I had her on, and we were talking about the lack of females in sports talk radio and what the problem was. And I was excited to have you on too, because I wanted to talk about this and when it comes to comedy, because like I was telling Rachel when it comes to radio is female comics don't get the credit that they deserve. And there's a disproportionate amount of male comics to female comics. And I was talking about this with Jerry Roach as well. And we were talking about the bullshit about women aren't funny. And there's way more unfunny men than there are unfunny women. But talk a little bit about the struggle of being a female comic in a male-dominated industry. Because I saw Rachel go through the same thing in radio. And it's infuriating and frustrating as someone who just wants to see good comics make it.
Yeah. I think it's like I think it's also kind of this like weird... am I using that like double-edged sword kind of situation for me is because I came into comedy with men that were very supportive of me. Like I started with Kevin Farron and Joe Bates and Chase, and they were super supportive of me. You know what I mean? Like, and then match that with like the secret group. Like Andrew gave me some of my like first best shows. You know, I got to open for Michael Che because of Andrew. Like, you know what I mean? And so like I think like navigating through that, but then there's also the other side of it, like running an open mic and being, you know, I was like labeled as the ice queen simply because I set rules and followed them. You know what I mean? And it's like, and I didn't break them for people. Because I was like, I want this to try to be, it's the teacher in me where I was like, I want this to be fair. And everybody for so long was like, comedy isn't fair. It's this or that. I go, if you want to run a show that's that way, that's fine. I'm going to run a show that I would feel respected to be on as well, you know? And so I think that it's that, but then I think the other part of it, there's that part of it because I never, like, I think that I am my father's son, as I always say, and I think I grew up in a world surrounded by, I have three sisters, but all my friends in high school were mostly men, and it's not because I hate women, I don't think about it like that, but I played sports, I was into sports, and, you know, video games, and that's just like the world I fell into. Now, if I were in high school, I would probably find a lot more women that were into stuff like me. So I think that it also, like, I think that I just really never noticed it because when dudes were shitty to me, I was just like, well, fuck you. And then, you know, walked away. Like, I just didn't put up with it. And I feel like I'm very lucky that I have a father that raised me to be that way because I understand that it's not always easy for women to be that way. And I've, like, you know what I mean? And I say that, and I remember one time bringing up a comic. I was going to bring up a comic on stage, and he was like, hey, is it okay for my opening joke if I told him that I fucked you? And I was like, no. Like, I was like, no, you can't say that. And why is that even a joke? Why is that funny? You know what I mean? I was like, and so I think that, like, so I definitely did experience it. But instead, like, I think that I was just always like, well, then fuck you. Like, and I think, like, that's why I made Ruds, because I was like, if you're not going to let me in your rooms, then I'll start my own room. Yeah. And you know what I mean? And just, like, stuff like that. I don't know. It's just, like, but then the other side of it, too, is, I think, like, I was talking to my friend Ryan about this, because Ryan's a musician. He's a black musician. And he talks a lot about how it's, like, there's this thing that people assume that just because you're, like, when women first start out comedy, that they're just like, oh, well, you're just going to give me the best spots, right? But I'm like, no, you're new. You'll work your way up the list just like every other person did. And when you get better, you know, like, I think of all, like, some of the strongest comics that you would agree, like Jafar Khan, Zahid, all of those guys started at the bottom of Rudyard's and worked their way up. Yeah, listen, and worked their way up to the top. And
I remember going to Rudd's.
So I think that and so I think that it's just like, don't have an assumption that when you walk in a room that just because you're an anomaly in that you just get special privileges. I'm going to give women better spots than I would men. But if you go up and you're terrible, then you're a terrible comic, and I don't want you on my show because you're not funny. Like, and it's like, and it's that same thing, but it's like, so as much as I want to, like, be there, I also don't, I feel that there's this unfair expectation put on me that I'm just, like, here to hand out chances to everybody. And I'm like, I worked hard to get where I am too. Like, and I'm not saying, like, so I think that it's like, it's really, and it's hard to be a woman and talk about that, because then I mean, when women are like, well, you're not helping women. I'm like, yes, I am. I'm helping really funny women get good spots.
That's the double-edged sword, right? Like, it's, you can be a woman in comedy, and look, just like there are tons of unfunny men in comedy, there are unfunny women in comedy. I don't want to pretend like every woman in comedy is funny. I've been on shows with plenty of unfunny both, right? But I love that you keep it real by saying the fact that, listen, at the end of the day, we're all comics. And to be a comic, you have to be funny. And I don't give a shit. If you're a funny female, I'm going to help you. But if you're not, don't sit there and throw it in my face and saying that I don't want other women to be successful. No, I don't want unfunny comics to be successful.
Yeah, and I was like, why don't you talk to the, like, 20 plus dudes that are always sitting at the end of the Rudyard's open mic list that are like, oh, Dusty, I always hates me. I'm like, I don't hate you. I just don't like your comedy. And I'm not going to give you a good spot because you do the same 5 minutes that sucks every week.
I remember being an alternate for, because it used to run until what, like 1:30?
Oh, it used to run until 2, and then that
and I remember being an alternate, and I would literally show up and sit in the back of the fucking room by myself, because when I first started, I wasn't in any cliques. Nobody knew me. Nobody, just like almost everybody, right? But I would just sit in the back and wait my turn, and then somebody canceled and I got a spot and you saw me, and then you would you moved me up on the alternate list, and then I eventually started getting the last spot on the list. And before you know it though, now, I mean, if I email you, I'll be in one of the sweet spots because you can count on me because I'm a good comic now. But I earned that.
Yeah. And the whole thing with the email list and the way I ran Reddit, I was like, isn't that better to either know that A, you're not going to go up, or know when you're going to go up?
Yes.
So like you don't so I don't waste anyone's time. Like I'm like, I'd rather do that than you show up and you think you're 5 and then you get bumped to 25. And I'm like, that's I respect people's time just like I want people to respect my time.
Yeah.
And I was like, and that's like the thing with Rudyard's, like the way I wanted to run that room. Plus I could host that mic every Monday if I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
I choose to make it a room where comics can develop hosting because that's like one of the first ways that you make it onto shows like at bigger venues like the Improv or the Secret Group or Hyenas or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you have to learn how to host. And so like, so I don't know. So, but it's like, it's fun. I mean,
you're in a tough position to be one of the better female comics in Houston and in a position to run a room and in a position to have to be able to, one, help women that deserve to be helped, that are funny and good at it, and still be able to tell other women that are just like any other comic that are bad, you're not good enough yet. Not that you're never going to be good, but yet.
Like, I always feel bad as a comic when people are like, what advice do you have for me? And my advice is I'm like, keep going up. I was like, that was the only piece of advice I took, and it worked. It's just like you can't and don't I've made mistakes. Like I became, there were points when I got too big for my britches where I was entitled, and then I had somebody scale me back and be like, yo, Dusty, you need to put a break on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that happens. That's understandable. So it's like I'm not gonna hold you to the worst version of yourself when I've known you in comedy. But if you're continuously like that, I guess, I don't know. But most of the time, everybody's been really I think it's such a better scene.
Oh, yes.
Now.
Yes. It's a much healthier scene.
I also speak from and I realize I come from a place that's very different than a woman who is just starting out. That's different. And I try, there's a real, Katie Miller, Jamie Rowan, Corliss DeLorean. There are women right now who are starting out and are in their first year or two, and they're wonderful. And I give them all the spots because I think that they're great comics. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I want to see them succeed because I'm like, oh, you're actually trying. You're putting forth an effort. Yeah. So yeah. And also it's funny too because those comics that you and Joffer and Zahed and Corliss and all them, they don't complain about getting bad spots.
No.
They take their spots until they get better ones. It's always the shitheads that complain that you're not even funny.
You're not even fucking funny.
Not even funny.
Fuck you. Just get one laugh and don't go home and get on Facebook and say you killed when we all saw you eat a fat piece of shit for 3 minutes. Stop that. That's not going to get you spots. By the way, Andy Huggins is in the chat. He just said comics talking comedy is the best.
Andy's always been the biggest Rudyard.
He is because he goes, how appropriate that you have Dusty on a Monday. Of course, when I say Dusti Rhodes on a Monday, he thinks Rudyard's immediately. He loves it. I'm telling you what, it is by far the best open mic in this city. And dare I say, it's probably one of the best open mics in the state of Texas. If you are in Houston, Texas, and you're looking for something to do on a Monday and you want to laugh, because it's always good. I've always said, even when I don't do the room a lot anymore, but I've always said, if I ever want to test a joke for a club, there's 2 places I go. It's either to the Improv or to Rudyard's. And if I can get a laugh at Rudyard's, then I know that the joke either has potential or it's legitimately funny. So it's the perfect room to see some of the best comedians and comedy in this city. So
someone just mentioned Dave Chappelle, including Dave Chappelle.
Duh. Go to Rudyard's on a Monday to do to watch open mic. Man, that flew by. I still have so much I wanted to ask you about all these comics that are, male comics that are getting canceled and deservedly so. We didn't get to any of that shit. Will you come back and do this again? Will you please come back? The deckheads love you. Will you come? Okay, excellent. Tell everybody where they can find you again. All the social media stuff.
Yeah, Lady Apron on Twitter, Lady Apron on Instagram. Those are what I use mostly, or but yeah, that's pretty much it. And then I have a website, ladyapron.com, if you want to check out my actual stand-up and not me reading stories that people think are my jokes, but not really my jokes.
Real quick, where does the Lady Apron come from?
Oh, so I grew up collecting aprons, and in college I would just wear them, as my little feminist fashion statement. I would wear a skirt and I would just put an apron on over it. And so I got known around the U of H campus as people would be like, "Oh, you're the apron lady." And I just thought, and then so when social media and everything started off, I just thought that lady apron sounded really cool.
It's dope.
And make my own dresses, and I still collect, I still have my collection of aprons. So I just was I just thought it sounded cool.
They love you. I'm telling you, the chat has been 100% Dusti Rhodes fans. So Chris Householder said, please come back, Dusty. I saw everybody was like, she's a cool chick. So yeah, we definitely have to do this again because I want to talk about.
Your fans are super nice.
Go fuck yourself. They really are. I would look. This whole show exists because of them. I would just be sitting my fat ass on the couch playing Warzone and crying because I didn't have a job if it wasn't for them. So it's they're unbelievable, man. I give them shit, but they're the best fans in the world, man. I mean,
they enjoyed me. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no. So we're gonna bring you back because I want to talk about comedians getting canceled. What comedians in cars getting canceled? That should be a show. And then I want to talk about you making the dresses and display some of them because they're badass. So thank you for doing this. You are the best. You know I love you to death. I hope we finally get to hit the road and do that gig in Arkansas that we booked.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right, you guys, go follow Dusty, please. She is the absolute best. Thank you so much for doing this. We'll do it again, I promise you. That is Dusti Rhodes, Lady Apron, on all the social media. Thanks to her for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, man. It was good to be back after a pretty fucking crazy weekend. Let's be real. It was wild. Sorry for all the technical issues. I've been a bit disheveled today. Yes, thank you, Chris Davis. Dusty was and is amazing. Like I said, one of my favorite people in comedy because she's so cool. Again, thank you all for the support after finding out I was shot at and all that weird shit, and just supporting the show and being here every day, and the thumbs up and for the 3 thumbs down. Thank you too, because you had to at least come here. So thanks. Hey, listen, I love you all so much. Tomorrow, pay attention. Tomorrow, you guys have requested that I do a show without a guest. Tomorrow, no guest. I just decided, look, let's just do a 2-hour show, just you and me. So we're going to make that happen tomorrow. And then I've got Andy Huggins booked this week. I've got Lauren Lill from Houston Sports Show booked this week. And I'll figure out what we do on Friday. Guys, be safe out there. All right? Wear your masks. Be careful. Most importantly, love each other. See you tomorrow. Daddy's making a YouTube video!